kids, welcome back to another week of Walk the Line, your favorite, the best John Walker U.S. Agent podcast. I am Phil. Of course, Charlie is here, the battle star of this show, and the violence herself, Lilith Hellfire, is here. And of course, yes, we're honored once again for the third time, Mr. Clay McLeod Chapman for Villains for Hire number 3.
Welcome to the Hat Trick Club.
Yay! Like I said, I think your return is probably the shortest we've ever had of anyone. So,
yes, and you have convinced me in this issue that it is not actually Hawkeye. You had me going for a while there.
Did I let you down? Do you feel
you did not let me down? You know, that's the great thing about a great twist like that it was really John Walker the whole time.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was worried after there was some adamancy to your fan theories that I was like, oh man, if I don't live up to that expectation, that bar is high, that they'll never have me back again.
No.
Oh no! Well,
see, I'm the kind of guy who likes to have my fan theories thwarted because that just shows me you thought of something better than I did. You see, that's the thing.
I mean, the jury is out as far as I'm concerned, but I appreciate your. I'm just glad you guys are still talking to me.
Oh so, we love these chats. No, I mean, Clay, tell them you didn't have the room because you had to run this issue right into the middle of Devil's Reign number 5. Because
yeah, it was a funny landing. Like it was. You know, it's one of those things where like you're a tie-in to a much larger story arc, and you know that it starts here and it's going to end there, and you just have to kind of. I want to liken it to a landing a fighter plane on a aircraft carrier, where you just know you gotta, and if you don't put on the brakes before you reach the end of the runway, you're going in the water. So hopefully it didn't splash.
Oh no, it was a good job. Oh, good, Charlie.
No, I mean it works perfectly. I mean on every level, everything works really well. You know, the integration of all the characters, the Fisk using the Purple Man powers on John Walker, and then even basically mocking him as he's controlling him. The young person who is the victim of Fisk's exploitation. What's her name?
Conviction.
Conviction. Yeah, I love her. I love her power. I love the fact that she's like literally infecting people with like some sort of toxin, and then I'm blinking on everyone's name. The symbiote, is it?
Oh, Agony.
Oh, Agony. This is where I see your love of Agony. Agony is so fantastic in this. Now, when she's just vomiting acid, I think, oh, what are you going to do with a character like Agony? Here, where she's pulling the toxins out of John Walker.
John Walker.
What the heck? John Walker. How did I forget it? Man, I'm sorry. I'm bad with names all of a sudden. And she pulls the toxins out of him. That is so beautiful. And you actually even get this idea that throughout all of the craziness of the symbiotes, there's like, no, there's still a human here, and there's still this connection with the humans. And honestly, the whole scene where it's like her face and his face as the symbiote, it's like, oh, this is like, you know, this is so chibi. This is so meet cute. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, if this was animated, it'd be little hearts.
I'll totally, I'll admit like that to me was the scene that I really wanted in this particular issue. You know, you're juggling like 10, 20 different characters and all the different kind of plot lines, and you know, you hope that like if you do the story justice, each character will have a kind of moment in the sun. But with pages kind of being what they are, like I really wanted, for some reason, just Agony and Walker having a kind of personal, heart to heart, something that felt, ever so slightly earnest and emotional. Like I don't know. That is my favorite moment of the comic of issue 3 for sure.
I mean, to me, that is your proof of concept for an ongoing. Agony and U.S. Agent.
How much restraint did it take?
U.S. Agony. There we go. There's your pitch.
What was that, though?
U.S.
How much
Agony.
restraint did it take to not do a shut up and kiss moment?
There were some earlier drafts where it was like, how much can I get away with? I wanted
There's some sexual tension.
Yeah.
There's some Mulder and Scully season 2 tension there. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, from the get-go, from issue 1, I wanted there to be, well, not issue 1 because Walker doesn't really come in until issue 2, but I wanted there to be some kind of chemistry, and I just love that. Agony. It was all Alyssa Wong from Extreme Carnage. She set up the character of Gemma, the host Gemma, and the Agony symbiote, and that character, those two characters became such a fan favorite that when my editors kind of suggested they wanted Agony to be within the Thunderbolts, it's kind of like, well, where does that character go? And I don't know, I just thought that there would be some fun to be had with a little, maybe there's some romance here, maybe there's a potential heart connection.
No, it makes perfect sense to me because otherwise, he'd be going in there saying, I don't care, I'll bust some heads. If he doesn't care about any of them, he's just like, if he doesn't have feelings for any of them, he'll just go in there and brutalize everyone.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's tough about Walker, is that he's such a hardened individual, and that he kind of walks into a room with this bravado leading the way. I don't know, I feel like the last few issues that I had read of Walker, I just kind of wanted him to be a little bit more broken, a little bit more kind of towing the party line, but feeling a little, there just had to be a kind of what the hell am I doing? What is this? And Agony is the closest thing to not a reset, but having the ability to be I see you for what you're dealing with, what your struggles are, because he's not going to get that from Electro. He's not going to get that from Fisk. He's going to get the egging on from Fisk and, the I see you and I know what's going on inside. But Agony kind of counterbalances that in a way that felt, I don't know, hoping for, a little more kind of Walker being oh, someone sees me.
That's all he ever wants.
I want a squishy, soft John Walker. I want a squishy, soft U.S. agent.
I don't know if anyone's ever done that. Until you, I don't know if anyone's really done a U.S. agent love story for
I mean, he's
got a punchable face only a mother could love. Come on, guys.
Who's gonna date U.S. agent? Nobody wants to date Walker. I mean, maybe, but I just feel Walker,
he's high maintenance.
He's high maintenance.
High strong, more like it.
Yeah. You can get that it would be very hard to have a relationship with John Walker because that's the thing. It's when Walker's at his worst, he's probably the most human. But when he's contented and safe, that's when he actually gets into his own, the way the world ought to be kind of attitude that is just going to be so grating to anybody that he has to deal with. That's the dichotomy of John Walker, is that in his worst state, he is probably the best he will ever be. And there's a I don't know if you ever saw the old Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Here we go.
But there's this character, Eric the Cavalier, who is very much your Reggie character from the Archie comics, kind of an Eddie Haskell type. But when the chips are down, that's when he's actually the hero, and he protects his friends. He does everything in his power to be a hero. But the minute things aren't a mortal threat, he goes right back to being the jerk. And, that is where I can see a character like John Walker being. He is just this guy who absolutely is a human, who cares about the people in his platoon, the people in his troop, the people writ large is humanity. But, if he's not in the middle of a fight, all he can think about is telling everyone about how great he is and how everyone needs to do what he thinks is the right way to do things.
Yeah. I find him to be a flawed character, and the kind of innate tragedy of a John Walker is that I don't know, that there's a sense of he wants to do what's right. The world will ultimately be against him. He will, I think it's better when he fails. And I don't know where he is in this series. He's kind of like, what am I gonna do? Like he's just like, I'm so screwed. Like I'm just so tired. I'm so kind of like, going from one lost cause to the next, and I don't know. Like I felt there was a kind of like emptiness to him, and I don't want to get so grandiose here, but I felt like that was what I wanted to play with, and that Agony, who is in of itself a character that is like two characters of like both the symbiote, the parasite, and the host. I feel like in a weird way, Walker is kind of like the host yearning for a better symbiote or some sort of kind of like outer shell to kind of protect him, but he doesn't have one. He's never going to have one. Too much time.
Yeah, as I said, I think that's a great dynamic. I think this is I think really the first time we really get to see Agony as a human character, as not just the symbiote monster, but really as the person within the symbiote monster, and that it is a symbiotic relationship, that the monster Agony doesn't exist without the human underneath.
Yeah.
That, so much of it is fed by, her own trauma and her own direction, and her own need, like John Walker, in the middle of this fight to say, here's what I can do. Here's how I can fight. Here's how I can be part of the team.
Yeah.
And it's a really good dynamic. I mean, and your Kingpin in this is just so evil. I mean, arguably more evil than I've ever seen the Kingpin before, which is saying something. And I think part of that is that this is a Kingpin who has a superpower for at least a little bit, and he really does not know that with great power comes great responsibility, and he is definitely abusing his power.
Absolute power corrupts absolute.
Yeah, but you can see how that's going to come at the end of it. Honestly, I got to tell you right now, I know I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get a Rhino Abomination fight. And Rhino actually has fought the Hulk a few times.
Yeah.
So I would love to see a Rhino Abomination fight, but I don't think we're going to get it in the final issue of this.
This is the final issue of this.
No, I mean not this, but I mean
Devil's Reign. Yeah.
I know this is because this actually, it's funny because this ends at a point that was actually at I think the previous Devil's Reign main issue.
Yeah.
When the champions and Jessica Jones come to free the Purple Kids. So. Which tied in greatly, and it really actually honestly, that whole storyline makes so much more sense after reading this. And it's one of these things where, as you read these stories, they're not chronological, but like a lot of films where they jump forward and back, you can actually get this, now that last thing I saw makes so much more sense in the context, and this actually makes for this really beautiful story to read. Yeah. So I really like that aspect of it. It's really, really fun and engaging.
That's great. I want to believe that was 100% our intention. So we did exactly what we set out to do, and I'll take it to the bank.
Sounds good.
Oh, and I think you said last time that you had conversations about more members to add to the team. So was Abomination your choice, or did you give them a list, or did they give you a list? Then you picked.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about this. I might get fired forever for saying stuff. But Abomination, it was funny. There was a list, and it was,
and they were all Abomination.
my editors gave me a list, and they're like, we were thinking maybe some of these characters, and the list, it wasn't a long list, it was maybe like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I was like, what about, and at that point they were kind of like, maybe we could get 2 in. And so it was kind of like, oh, what about this character and this character? And they were like, yeah, that's cool, go for it. And then somewhere in the revising process, they were like, no, it wasn't even revising. I mean, it could have been even like when they're starting to like start penciling. They were like, oh, we can't have those characters because they're a part of another comic series going on. So they're like, we gotta take that person off and take that character off. And then they're like, oh, let's get Abomination in. And I was like, oh, cool, Abomination's great. And but then there was an issue of like where Abomination could come in exactly. So there was a lot of like, it wasn't even moving chess pieces as much as it was like we just have to like plant, like where do we bring that character in. But yeah, I dodged a little bit of your question there.
It's okay. For tax purposes, we get it.
There were other characters that were going to be in it, but then it was deemed that we couldn't because another office for another comic was using those characters, and therefore we had to take them out. Because you can't have a villain in 2 comics at the same time. You can't have someone in New York when they're supposed to be in...
Yeah, because Wolverine never does that.
Enjoying a San Francisco treat.
Wolverine never does that, no.
Can't happen.
I just thought,
yeah. He's a pod person now. He can be anywhere.
That's true.
And everywhere.
Although it's funny you should mention that because...
Okay?
I just figured Abomination, he's another super strong guy. He can fill in for Rhino, and he got the name brand recognition, so...
Yeah, I was actually going to say, though, this was a really good week for Abomination because he's also over in Maestro this week.
Oh, yeah.
Granted, that's an alternate universe story, but still, it's like, wow, man, Abomination's getting play.
Synergy.
So making a comeback since Shang-Chi.
Well, you give the guy an inch, he's going to take
him out a kilometer.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I would love a Rhino Abomination Duke off.
Yeah.
That would be. I would read that for sure.
See, what's funny is
Rhino's getting clobbered. Come on.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I know that Rhino has fought.
You just want to see him squished into a pancake, you sadistic bastard.
Well, I think the Rhino's big thing is Rhino is like the thing. It's not so much that he's super strong; it's that he can take a lot of damage, and it's like it's not so much that he is super strong. It's not so much that you can get beat up by him, but it's that no matter what you do, he just gets back up. And if you have a guy who just keeps getting back up, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
That is how you. I mean, that's your classic human. What do you call it? It's exhaustion predators or whatever it is, where you just follow the deer because the deer can't stop and it can't sweat, and eventually it just collapses, and then you eat deer for dinner. It's.
Did you call it an exhaustion? What is that? An exhaustion?
Or persistence predator? There's a word for it. This is the idea that this is what humans are, because humans can sweat and breathe, and we can just have this like steady pace for hours and hours and hours, and like most ungulates can't run constantly, and so they can run faster, but they can't outrun us because when we're power walking, we will eventually catch up to them. And then they have to run again, and they just have to keep on running and running, and then eventually they just collapse. And then this is how humans ate meat. This is what Stone Age hunting was. Persistence predator is the word. You can Google it. It's a real thing. I didn't just make it up.
From the school of Charlie Esser.
Humans are scary monsters. I don't know if you've ever read any of that sci-fi, but humans are like the scariest beasts in the universe, and that's why aliens don't come here.
No, they fly by and lock the doors. I really believe it.
I know Lilith usually brings up the art, but was this intentional? Because I thought I noticed in this issue, well, all the issues except for like the last couple pages of this one, but it seems like as the story gets darker, does the art get darker? And was that like an intentional thing between you and the art team?
It wasn't it wasn't a conversation about wanting the pages to get darker as they go along, other than we definitely wanted there to be, I mean, it's kind of like what we talked about last time, where it's like we wanted that kind of the granular grit to make it feel like it was kind of a celluloid, like a gritty 70s, Manchurian Candidate, not Manchurian Candidate, that was before the 70s, but French Connection kind of style. I don't know, like really going for it. But, it's just funny how, like, I feel like sunlight is used so kind of alarmingly well in this, where like there'll be just these like bursts of light, and I don't know, I'm always so pleasantly surprised when there's a little sun flare going on in this, because you're just like, oh man, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to remember if I was just misremembering it, or if it was just like I was reading it different. But yeah, it just seems like the first issue, even as they're decapitating people, it seemed extra sunny and bright. And then as each issue comes on, it gets darker. I mean, in the beginning of this issue, it's like rubble, debris. There's probably smoke in the air, so of course it's going to be darker. But
even there, you can see, you get the light behind it, and there are several spots like here. You can see the light coming up behind. Conviction. I really like the character of Conviction. I really hope we see more of her. Is this a newly created character?
Yeah. How crazy is that? They let me create Conviction. That was like when I first pitched this story. At that point, the character's name was actually Crisis, but we changed it.
Don't want DC soon. Yeah, I feel
you. Yeah. Oh dear. But it was like this idea of like having a character who, because we I always knew that there would be this rally at the kind of center of the story, and that this political rally, this Fisk mayoral candidacy rally would kind of break out into panic and violence. That I wanted a character, like we were talking a lot about crisis actors and how there's this idea of like that, you could manifest, you could hire a group of performers to pretend to be either victimized or be aggressors, or, that there's a certain kind of performative quality to violence. And I found that really compelling. So when I started thinking of the character Crisis, now Conviction, the idea would be like, could Wesley or could Fisk have kind of inadvertently hired someone to like, we're going to have this rally, but we want to make a big splash. So we want some protesters, or we want something there to kind of like, make things look like it's really, that the stuff is going down. So let's hire some crisis actors. But what if like one of those crisis actors turned out to be, someone with a kind of malevolent force, or the ability to bring out, like manifest a kind of cancerous bile, like possess you with all of the kind of inherent rage or whatever kind of agitates you, and let that stuff kind of froth out or bubble out. So, that was that was the kind of idea, the pitch of like, what if it could be like this? And, through the writing process and the kind of collaborative process, like Conviction became this character who Fisk had experimented on at Ravencroft, and like, like kind of going through all of these, like how does someone who has so much rage, like, and now has the ability to kind of like bring that out in others and possess them with it and kind of channel it. That's Conviction. So I really do hope, I mean, it's rare, and I feel fortunate that like a handful of times now I've been able to kind of create a character. Because more often than not, when you're playing in the sandbox, you're playing with pre-existing characters. And, someone like Conviction, or even like someone like Silence from Extreme Carnage, you never know. I mean, you just never know. Like, they now exist within the fabric of the Marvel comic universe, so maybe, at some point in the database, someone can be like, you know what, we haven't seen whatever happened to that character. Where's Conviction right now? Let's bring her back. And that would just be so I'd be oh man.
And
visually, she's an amazing visual character. She's got this really cool tortured backstory, and honestly, she threads that needle where if you want to give her that redemption arc, it is right there if you want it, and you can also have her spiral down into further darkness, and that is like the gold standard for a character.
Yeah,
it's like we can do whatever we want with this character. They can really be as evil as we want, or we can actually show that there's this innate goodness to them, that what they do, it may be chaos, but it is for a larger good. And so I really love this character. So this is the Charlie Esther seal of approval.
Oh my.
That means a lot to me, man. Thank you.
Yes, if they still had that handbook of the Marvel Universe, I would be waiting for C to get the Conviction entry, and just to see all of her stats. It would be amazing.
And I don't know if you can confirm or deny. I don't know if you can confirm this or not, but I would assume she is the purple woman on the Thunderbolt. We've seen art for that upcoming Thunderbolt series.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Was that a sneeze? I heard a sneeze.
I saw a wink, I think.
I gotta plead the fifth.
Fine, leave us to our own speculative idolation.
What if it's Hawkeye? What if
whoa!
It's actually Hawkeye. It was Hawkeye the whole time. They're all Hawkeye. That's the big reveal of Thunderbolt.
Hawkeye clones.
They're all Hawkeyes. Variants, because we can do that now. No, I actually, that's the thing. When I first saw Conviction, I thought she could be like a purple girl, but twisted into evil. But then it's like, no, this seems like a new character, not the purple girl. So I don't know. I don't think this is Persuasion, the purple girl. I think it's not that person, but maybe I'm wrong because I usually am. I thought John Walker was Hawkeye, so what do I know?
I think Marvel needs to come out with a perfume line, and they're Persuasion or Conviction. Every kind of scent is a different character name for.
I think didn't they do that for the Avengers around one of those movies or something? So I think they should. I mean, they can do it.
An Avenger scent line.
Around the movies.
Whiskey.
There was a time when everyone had scents for some reason. It was a thing.
Oh yeah, there's a Spider-Man one there. Yeah, they've done it. They can do it again.
There's a Black Panther one.
Okay, well, there we go.
Solid story though. I had a great time. I was sad to see this go. So
yeah, it was a quick one. I mean, the story was just getting started, and we'll see.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see where it goes from here. But you just never know. Now that the new Thunderbolts are coming around, we'll see what elements get picked up and kind of transitioned into the new arc. But I'm not gonna. It's weird. I kind of came into this not liking Walker, and I don't know if I like him any more or any less now. But I do think that he always gets this unfair shake in his story arcs, where he just kind of stumbles in, breaks something, and then stumbles out. And I don't know if he got his justice or his due in my mini or not. But it's funny how you start telling the story, and then the baton gets kind of passed, or the baton gets broken up and gets kind of dispersed in all these other various baton carrying comic storylines.
Yeah. Well, I think you definitely said it best that, John Walker is a puppet, and he is dealing with the fact that he is a puppet, and it's hard to realize that. And, here's what I'll say. Any success that the new Thunderbolts gets, I think it does owe a big debt of thanks to Villains for Hire. Because whatever comes out, I really feel that the strength of this is. I'm always down for a Thunderbolts book, but after reading this, I really want to see how they're going to pick up this baton. I want to say, okay, this was your opening act. Let me see what you do, because this was really good.
I guarantee you it will be 100 times better and more nimble and on its feet. Already just like looking at the covers alone, like you can tell it's going to be so much fun. I'm looking forward to it.
But again, that's an ongoing, right? And you did an amazing job. Considering you had a starting point and an end point. They're like, okay, you have to end here. Yeah.
Which is honestly
that's a talent. That's a talent.
A talent in and of itself. It's
because that's what I was gonna say. They must have faith in you, because Thunderbolts were all over, even like the main series and stuff. Some of these crossover series were good, but like had little or nothing to do with the main story. Yeah, the Thunderbolts were all our villains for hire, or whatever we call them. We're all over the main series. So,
but people got really into from what I've heard, just like glancing online and social media, it seems like everyone really loved the X-Men one.
That was good too. Yeah.
People really went kind of crazy over that one. And maybe that's, I think I'm just kind of aware that X-Men fans, X-Men readers are very devoted.
It's fine. As one, I'll say it. We're rabid.
And it really wasn't like a lot, like all the X-Men. It was basically just Emma Frost, so.
Yeah.
It's
a really fascinating story. Like, they really did a great job with it.
It was a great job, but again, they were basically focused on they sprinkled a little bit of Elektra in there, but they were basically focused on one character. You juggled what kind of cast, and still.
Yeah, a team, that's tough.
Yeah.
And everybody got a good chance to shine too, which is much appreciated.
Oh, yeah. That's the best part of it, is just that you never feel that anyone got short shrift in this.
Yeah, it does not feel like there was like two characters that were teachers pettering like that, so.
Agony was my teacher's. That was my. I just wanted more Agony. I could have just totally written Agony. I feel like Taskmaster. It was funny because like in earlier drafts of the scripts, there was so much more horn locking between Walker and Taskmaster. I always liked this idea that Taskmaster would be like, "I'm the leader of the group," and Walker would be like, "No, I'm the leader of the group." And that the two of them would just keep constantly. I feel like setting the stage with issue 1, there was all of this kind of like the group is just in free for all because everybody has their own kind of personal self-interests in mind. And then Walker comes in and, it's not a clean reset, but it is kind of like, I do think that Walker takes over the story, and the remainder of the Thunderbolts kind of, they are reacting to Walker. So it's like you're looking at those characters through the lens of Walker, or how they react or interact with Walker. Where like issue 1 was so much fun because it was just the Thunderbolts being the Thunderbolts. Like you could have Rhino and Whiplash and Electro, and like they were all having their moments, and like it was just like everybody's like a dysfunctional family. Then Walker comes in, just like, stops, enough of that. And then they're all kind of like collectively like, we don't like you now. And like, it's so like the dynamic shifted between, from 1 to 2, and then from 2 to 3, you kind of end at issue 2 with this kind of like, oh my God, what have we done kind of moment. And, issue 3 just becomes kind of like, we have to clean up this mess we made. That Walker's kind of like he's forced into a position where he has to kind of be like, this doesn't work. This is bad. Fisk, you're doing something, poorly. So like in my mind, the kind of like herky jerky arc is, petulant children running amok. Issue 2 is school marm coming in and like, basically scolding the kids to act responsibly, and the tensions that creates, only for it to end with a big mess. And then issue 3 is just like, how do we clean up that mess and who's responsible for it? But yeah, the wheels of injustice just keep on turning,
I love Taskmaster. Don't get me wrong. I would have loved to see those two in each other's faces every issue, but I kind of like the way it turned out because I'm not as familiar with Agony, and it's just the whole thing with, especially issue 2, I'm like, okay, is this sexual tension between her and Walker real, or is she playing him either on orders or just for her own agenda? So I was kind of like, ooh, I'm intrigued because I don't know how this is going to.
Two things be true.
That's true, but I'm just like, I don't know how this is going to play out. So, Taskmaster, what Taskmaster is going to be. He's going to be a jerk. So.
I'm just saying, U.S. Agent, he has that little bit of symbiote in him. That's what they're attracted. The symbiote say, "Hey, I sense something here. You're part of the family. You may not know it, but you're already one with us."
We'll see. You never know. Whoever writes it, I mean, any love for Agony is purely based off of Alyssa's work, off of creating her character Gemma, the host Gemma from Extreme Carnage. And honestly, I just picked up that baton, went a little bit further with it to see if I could do anything, but I feel like I owe it to Alyssa and what she did. So, give credit where credit's due.
All right. Yeah, we all wanted more of this. So, okay, you probably can't answer this. Have there been talks of you doing something in the future for Marvel?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was going to say, in either way, how much, if they want you to do something, how much lead time did they get in touch with you months ahead of time, weeks ahead of time? What's the time?
Usually it's months. I mean, I there's nothing on the horizon, which is a bit of a bummer, but I basically, I always end a project feeling like, I think this may be the last thing I ever do with Marvel, just because I feel like I kind of crash and burn it. And then, a month or so, a couple months go by, and then there'll be an email and be like, oh wow, you want me to do something else again? That's awesome. And hopefully I won't crash and burn this one. But, yeah, I mean, I love doing it. Honestly, I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I hope I can. And I would really be, just thrilled. Because ultimately, it's just a lot of fun, and it's really exciting. And, sometimes I get characters right and other times I don't. But I do think that there is this vibe of I don't know. It's fun to try to explore and kind of test the parameters of what has been done and where we can go, and just tell a small kind of hand carved little story. But yeah, I'd totally go back.
I mean, symbiotes are popular right now. I mean, there's a Carnage book, there's 2 Venom books right now, so
yeah.
So I'm sure that email's on its way soon.
Keep those fingers crossed.
Yes, and there was no crashing and burning here.
Oh no!
This was just fantastic.
He's got a bad case of imposter syndrome.
I know. Well, I know you always want to down because if you say I do everything greatly, no one wants to hang with that guy. So I understand that. Sometimes you have to lie and say I don't know what I'm doing.
No, I think I told you last month. I mean, unlike some events, the whole Devil's Reign, I don't think there's been a bad one in the bunch. Like you mentioned, the X-Men one's good. Villains for Hire was great. So, I mean, everyone's been.
It flows and feels necessary.
Yeah, everyone.
How did people react to Doc Ock, the Doc Ock one? That one.
Ask the number one Doc Ock fan down in the corner there next to you. Yeah,
that was brilliant. I mean, it doesn't have a lot to do with Devil's Reign, obviously. It is more about, Otto's great introspection. And, that's where true heroes are born, is when they actually have to contemplate their own navels for a moment and, realize from whence they came and from whence they'll go and how to be a true hero, there's so much in, again, don't get me started on Doc Ock, but, there's so much in the character where he should be so much more than he is, but he is held back by his own hubris. But he never wants to, in my opinion, be a villain. He just sort of has villainy thrust upon him. It's like he would rather be Reed Richards, but he is the Wizard. Except the Wizard is more active in his own villainy because the Wizard just wants to be a villain. because Reed Richards is a hero. Doc Ock doesn't want to be a villain. He just feels that no one will listen to him, and the only way to do it is just to tell everyone to be quiet and let him do what he has to do.
Well, if he would stop wearing white suits and robbing banks, maybe we'd take him a little more serious.
Well, just because you're a large gentleman does not mean you can't dress fly. And
I don't know, man. They seem like they're giving him a makeover in that main Devil's Reign series, man. He looked like he slimmed down a little bit, got a decent haircut.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you can clone your own body, eventually you should say, maybe I'm going to do a couple tweaks here and there,
You could be the supervisor of 5 others. Yeah, you gotta.
That's all. I mean, Mephisto put him back in his old body, but he's probably gone through 6 more since then. That's the thing with Otto. He just does not settle for second best.
Yeah, do you have time to read any current comics, Clay? Because I know you're writing books and writing comics. Do you have time to read anything?
I mean, yes, not nearly enough though. The one that I'm religiously keeping up with is Matthew Rosenberg's "What's the Furthest Place from Here." That has been my go-to every month. Got to pick it up, read it. I've just been loving that one. It's on Image. I think it's Image.
I've heard good things about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a total lark. It's just so fun, and the characters are just I really feel like that's some great writing right there. What else have I been reading? I'm totally blanking. I should have had some ready-made answers, but it's going to pop up in my head as soon as I get off this call. But not nearly enough, and clearly I'm doing a poor job of
That's okay.
Speaking to my peers. But yeah, What's the Furthest Place from Here has been we're 7 issues in now, I think, right? Or 5 or 6. He just keeps cranking them out. They're amazing.
Wow. And was it last time or the time before? Did you say you have something creator owned coming later in the year? I know you probably can't say what, but
maybe.
Can't talk about that. That's like Bruno.
We'll talk when it comes out.
Yeah. I mean, it's in the process. It's kind of cool. I mean, I'm really hopeful. I'm really excited. So we'll see. Maybe October. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's so what? It's a definite, but it's just the time frame you're not sure of.
I mean, it's what is it? It's we're in the kind of contract phase right now, so it's it's all the it's all the paperwork stuff. Yeah, it's the deal stuff. So it's once the deal stuff gets done, the real stuff, the fun stuff gets to happen. So there's an artist, there's a publisher, there's a place, there's a there's all this stuff, but it's all all the businessy stuff has to happen. So it's kind of
business.
Understood.
See no evil, hear no evil, dig no evil.
Yeah. Jungle Elliot.
And I think you mentioned it before last time too, but the paperback version of your what was that? Your latest book came out.
Yeah, it will come out April 5th, and I just so
close, Phil.
It's called Whisper Down the Lane. Ooh. And it is a spooky psychological horror novel. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm a fan of it.
I hope so.
I'd say you could do worse if you're looking for something spooky to read.
I think I'm gonna pick that up, but you know what? We might have to have you back to talk about that whenever I read it. I wrote it down, April 5th. There we go.
There we go.
Done.
Nice. He's like, yes, I'll come back, talk about that guy. He did an okay job with that book. Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Clearly, you don't have to twist my arm. I'll come back. If there's anyone out there who wants to talk to me about stuff, I feel like I do it in a heartbeat. Why not? This is, I don't know, maybe one person watching this will be like, oh, that sounds good. I'll read that.
Exactly.
Let's check that out.
Well, I
And
have
then
impeccable taste in books, so if I tell somebody to read it, they'll read it.
Done. Please, shout it from the mountaintop. I need all your help.
Again.
Are you excited for Moon Knight?
Oh, Moon Knight.
I think so. I mean, have you ever felt burned by any of the TV shows yet? Like, do you feel like they've done a good job of...
The only thing I'm upset about is that, and clearly Wonder Vision was meant to be a miniseries, but I still want season 2 because I'm selfish. So that's been the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Accepting that some of these things have to be one.
Yeah. Moon Knight looks good. Like, it looks good.
Yeah, it does.
I'm down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It got the extra adult rating in Europe.
Wow.
So they kicked it up a notch. They said, well, Disney's saying, you know what, we're going to start going there.
Yes, cutting off guy's face confirmed. Yes.
Well, I don't know if it's going that far. This was the UK group. The UK.
Well, they don't have to show it; just imply it.
I know, but the UK is much more weird about
this
violence.
From people who say the F word at 7 o'clock at night on their TV shows. I don't know.
That's that weird taste differential as Americans get freaked out by sex.
England, you need the C word.
Freaked out by violence. So, but presumably it is at least a little violent, which I guess the kids love these days. And
the Moon Knight fans.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I am.
Oh yeah,
I'm excited. Next Wednesday, actually, this Wednesday technically.
Yes,
because this Wednesday is the next Wednesday. So.
Okay, Jerry.
Timey-wimey, don't make my head hurt.
But yeah, that'll be fun.
Okay. I'm gonna annoy somebody, Lil. Clay, did you see the Batman movie?
I did.
Did you like it?
I did. I liked it. I mean, I don't need another Batman movie, but I got one, and it was good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like,
did you see the deleted scene yet? That they just
I did, and it's like, oh, hey, there's Joker, more Joker. Like, it's like
you never see that guy.
At this point, it's like I love eating. I love eating like popcorn with like stuff on it, like the flaky stuff or the like cheesy stuff or the like all the stuff that they put on it. But sometimes they get the ratio off. Like, it's like maybe there's like maybe a little too much cheese, or maybe it's like a little too much or not enough. And like there's that vibe of like Batman where it's like they always put stuff on it. It's like, how do you like your popcorn? Like, do you like it with like a little bit of David Fincher seasoning? Do you like it with a little bit of, like broody? Or do you like it a little like, campy? Like, I don't know. Like, it's I'll eat it. I'll watch it, and I'll be like, oh, this is pretty good. And then you eat it for 3 hours, and you're just like, oh my God, I just ate 3 hours of popcorn, and I feel a little like, but it was good. I was a fan of the Riddler. I thought Paul Dano did a really good job.
Yeah, like I said, I think we liked it. He was a little more. That Batman did a little more actual detective work, and the whole thing with the Riddler.
Standing around brooding is not detective work, Phil.
I know, standing in the crime scenes and then glaring at people. Not
Making
detective
Google
work. I know.
faces with Gordon does not equal detective work.
But no, I like the actual battle with the Riddler wasn't physical; it was like mental.
Yeah. I just think that the Riddler enjoyed himself a bit too much. It was a little. It got to be too much of a sex thing for me. So,
you know what I say to you? Ave Maria, buddy. Okay.
It got to be like, oh, okay. He shouldn't be gasping that much as he's tying people up,
I just think it's a great time to be a comic book fan.
Yeah, no, it is, because they've got everything for you nowadays.
I mean, who ever thought we'd get a Moon Knight series?
Yeah.
Never. I mean, unless we were... I feel like we got trapped on a parallel Earth at this point. I'm pretty sure this is the Mandela effect, somehow, some way.
It's the reward for having to put up with the last 2 years.
There you go. We get a Moon Knight.
Balance has been restored. Karma is repaying you for your 2 years of hibernation and quarantine.
One hopes.
All right, any other questions for this man, or should we let him get back to his many...
Yeah, let him get back to work.
back to the grind.
Sign those papers.
Stories.
Well, thanks guys for having me on.
Oh, thank you again. I mean, we're not done bugging you. I know. At least I'm gonna go out and get the book and.
Do our authors go on book tours anymore? I wouldn't even know in this post-pandemic world. That used to be my favorite thing. Have there even bookstores anymore? I don't even know anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally.
There's Barnes and Noble and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think like this year hopefully will be a year where a lot of things get to happen and reset. I think I'm going to be in San Diego for Comic-Con. I think maybe I'll be in New York Comic-Con, like promoting, like pushing the book stuff. So maybe there'll be a comic out to talk about too. But yeah, like it's people are doing things. Okay. There's some events happening.
That's what I was going to say. He could sneak that book in the cons, but it's like, oh hey, writer of Devil's Reign, Villains for Hire, Clay McLeod Chapman.
Hey, look, a neat book.
And then the room just empties.
No.
Comic book readers read novels too.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it, and thank you for the kind words about Devil's Reign. It was a lot of fun, and it means a lot that you all would be as supportive as you have. So thank you.
Thank you. I mean, Clay, we're serious. I mean, we wouldn't spend our hard-earned money or have you on here if we didn't enjoy it. So.
Well, I really appreciate it.
And yes,
thanks for having me.
And we will bug you again when you have more. We'll talk more stuff with you. So
anytime, I'm around.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Have a good night, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
I can't believe that was our 100th episode of Walk the Line. Such a great interview.
No, it was 254. What are you talking about?
254?
Earth 3's favorite. Earth 3
feels like 100.
Oh, that's right.
So fresh and fun, Phil.
Earth 3's best and only U.S. Agent podcast. Come on.
Yes.
This is Earth M62. Come on, Phil. Oh, M69. My fault.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, yeah, we do spend our hard-earned money on these comics because we love them and we enjoy them and we want to. We're not like some podcasts where, here's 3 episodes of a hotly awaited television program for you to watch and review. So
don't call our patron out like that.
No.
Just dropping issues in or episodes in his lap. I know. What the F?
He's only been doing it since the internet's been a thing, guys.
My actual point was that that's actually a really cool thing that they are getting that, and I wanted to give them that promotion. That if you want those spoiler-free reviews of people who've seen it beforehand, they're going to be doing it over there.
That's right. And then they'll review the episode after it comes out. Yeah, see.
Like the rest of us peasants.
Yeah, but then they can do the spoilers, but they'll have already been spoiled. They're pre-spoiled. They're aged at that point.
I'm glad Ray got that, but man, he let Nolan on that? Come on.
It's not just for boys.
I think it might just be.
Charlie's buddy Noel, who he talked Howard the Duck with. I heard that.
Yeah, I think I went way on too long on that. So,
have you seen those podcasts? You were right on time. Perfect.
Okay, I don't know. No, sometimes I ramble when I talk about Howard.
No, he loves Howard the Duck, so I was going to say, we're going to ramble.
I understand the passion for Howard.
I waddle. I don't ramble, I waddle. But,
he knows how the duck penises work.
I was going to say, he does know how the duck penises work. If anybody in this room knows how that works, it would be Charlie. You know how duck penises work, right? So, if you guys are wondering where the comic book reviews are, of course, it's over on Super Connectivity.
That's right. And like I already said on Super Connectivity, next week, if you're looking for the Morbius review, because Lil Hellfire demanded we do it somewhere else, we're doing it on Super Connectivity.
Yay!
You ain't gotta go home, but you can't keep that mess here.
Oh, well, I did say that, this was our risk when we did the,
well, it was for 2021. So, had it come out last year like it was supposed to, it could have been on the list.
Sony was doing too good. Oh,
yeah, well,
at least they have Into the Spider-Verse 2 to make up some money.
Yeah, what is that, like in the fall? So, yeah.
The quarter. Yeah, the last quarter.
Yeah, Sony's just not good
with boys!
But anyway, that's okay. They still have Spider-Man for the time being.
All right, so should we get out of here?
Sure.
Okay. I'll take a little silence as an affirmative. No, I'll take a little silence as an affirmative. gonna screen grab that. All right, kids. So yes, kids. Hey,
So can't wait to get punched in the face next week, kids.
if you stay on Earth 3, but the Capes and Lunatics will be back next week.
Boo.
But hey, kids, send your thought. I know Devil's Villains for Hire is over, but send your thoughts. And I'll forward them to Clay. You know, let's bombard him with positive feedback. So, and hey, let's bombard Marvel. Say, hey, we need more Clay McLeod Chapman on books. So.
Yes, we just need more symbiote books that aren't Carnage and Venom.
There you go. Yeah. Give us something new, something different.
All new, all different.
All new, all different symbiotes. All right, so
Giant Skies symbiote things.
oh, Charlie, did you see? I guess in
Oh boy.
Charlie, did you see? I guess I don't know when it comes out. The next issue, because one came out this week, but the next issue of Avengers Forever, I guess there's a version of the Avengers where they're all bonded to like versions of the Man Thing.
Marvel wants you to see their man.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if it comes out in April sometime, but yeah, I mean, come on, guys, Clay could write that.
It was supposed to.
Clay would kill to write that spinoff.
Well, you know, they've been building to the Man Thing for a while since the last Thunderbolts run when he sort of had his evolution, and then we had, of course, our little Otto Von Man thing in the Autoverse, and we had Boy Thing in the Avengers for a while there. So there's a lot of things going around.
That won't fly in 2022. Let me tell you.
It's all
That's a quick way to get canceled.
Boy Thing, yeah. All right, so yeah, send us your thoughts. All the villains for hire, Clay, all the praise for Clay. Email CapesandLunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can follow, well, when they come back, the Clay Capes and Lunatics on Facebook, on Twitter. Find links to all the social medias for all the shows we do on Any Earth. Links to the YouTube channel, most important, links to the Patreon. Please subscribe. Get all the creator interviews.
We don't have a political slush fund, so please support the Patreon.
That's right. Yes.
Buy our merch.
We don't have a super PAC or anything. So.
Oh yes, I'm getting there, Charlie. Yes, we got merch, but also on that Patreon, early access to interviews. DG Chichester every month.
I got the good mic out for you guys.
And only on the Patreon, the superhero movie brackets, finding the worst superhero movie. It's a
Will we survive?
It's a tough job, but I guess we'll do it. So yes, subscribe to the Patreon, and as Charlie said, get your Capes and Lunatics merch.
Aluminium mugs.
Better than vibranium. Aluminium.
Aluminium, yes, much better than vibranium. Will keep your drink cool all night long.
Yeah, Charlie passes out after drinking all night. Wakes up, it's still cold, right?
You get dehydrated and you need to drink again, and there it is right there, nice and cold.
Yeah, you have to keep something liquid by your, especially if you're a mouth breather like me.
So,
I need that as a drop fill.
Okay. All right, links to everything, all of that is at Linktree, linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics. All right, and speaking of wrangling man things, Little Hellfire, where can people get a hold of you?
If you guys want to hang out with me on the interwebs, either on Earth M69 or the regular Earth, you can find me on Twitter at Lil Hellfire, on Instagram at Lil Hellfire69, and of course on the TikTok, making all the comments at Lil Hellfire60. Will your muffin be buttered next? Find out. Let me get a ride on your alligator back, bro. Somebody's muffin's getting buttered. That ain't my business.
Charlie Esser.
Well, they can always write to me in the old-fashioned email way. There are mothers and fathers who instead at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And follow me on the Twitters. I live tweet Naomi. Just bring out Superman Prime already.
My sweet summer child.
I can't remember if it's Tuesdays or Wednesday nights at 9.
Tuesdays.
Anyway, it's on at 9.
Tuesdays.
Tuesday nights at 9. Oh, Naomi, I love you, darling, but just get to start moving.
Pick up the pace.
At Charlie Esser, that's CHARLIE ESSER. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Thank you, Moz.
And again, kids, if you're listening to this on the podcast, yes, today, April 1st, make sure you check out the Capes and Lunatics sidekicks, because there are 3 versions of me and Lilith did a something over there. Or should I say, not Lilith Hellfire,
Let them find out.
Oh, okay.
Let them find out.
Okay. She's like, don't spoil it. All right, kids. So come back next time and Thank you once again, Mr. Clay McLeod Chapman. And remember, U.S. Agent, he's our guy. Punch him in the face. Well,
and walk the line.
Yes, and walk the line. Thank you, Lil. Good night.
Just keep walking.
Yes.